now that we have that many people joining us, let me welcome you for a second time, all of you, because some of you have just come in. My name is Maria Noida, and I'm the curator of Gallery 18. And I wish you a happy Valentine's Day, a happy Frederick Douglass's birthday, and looking ahead to Monday, a happy President's Day. So we have a lot to celebrate. Let me just take you through the procedure that we're, with which we're going to do this. First of all, if you have, what do you call it? If you want to tell other people about this exhibit, which I hope you will, the page you should go to is www.riverdaley.org/community/gallery18. It doesn't go immediately to gallery, riverdaley.org and then Gallery 18. There's /community/Gallery 18 because we're very much a part of the community and serve it. We are going to first do a scroll through the exhibit, the way it's hung virtually, and see how it hangs as a body. And then we're going to look at the individual images. And at that point, I really expect that we will have the artist talk about the individual piece.
Ken is joining now. Ken is joining now.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so let me back up. So when we look at the individual images, that's when we'll have the artist comment about their piece. I have questions that I want to ask, and I'm sure that the rest of you have questions that you might want to ask. Please ask questions, make comments. I am totally against having a dedicated question and answer period at the end of any presentation. I want this to be very much of an open forum and very interactive. So please don't hesitate to just speak up and say, oh, I want to say something about that, or I want to ask a question. That's perfect. Feel perfectly free to do so. That's what it's all about. Okay, and at the end, when we've done all of that, when we've seen the gallery view, we're going to go back, scroll through the exhibit once again for any final questions, okay? One final thing, if there is an artist out there who doesn't know me or doesn't know about the gallery, or if you know of an artist and you wish to have them get in contact with me, I am delighted, okay? So just use the email address gallery18@riverdaley.org. Gallery18@riverdaley.org. I'll repeat it at the end. All they have to do is send me 5 images, 5 JPEGs. 5, no more than 5, okay? Thank you. So, all right. Oh, okay. And we're almost ready to go for me to share the screen. I will, I'll share the, where the exhibit is on the riverdaley.org page so that we're all looking at the same thing. You should know that I asked the artists when they submitted for their thoughts on how one of their pieces, at least if they submitted more than one, related to the theme, if not now, when. And I used those comments in the exhibit because, again, I wanted it to be an exhibit that was interactive and where people asked themselves questions and were not confronted, but faced with not only the artist's work, but their own thoughts. And that also actually, prompted thoughts in my own mind and questions in my own mind, which had some of the groupings of the images. Okay, so let me share the screen. Okay, and
Maria, I have a quick question. Someone just texted me to ask me where the chat box is, if they have questions for as they go along.
we don't have a chat box. And for whatever reason, I cannot explain that to you. But you know, I understand that it would be, whoops, nice to have a chat box, but I prefer it if you simply said it, you know, simply spoke. I know that I've got the Nigel, if I can't find the screen. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. I've got it. Okay. Hold on. So hold on just a minute because I got to get back. Okay, there we are. There we are. Okay. Everybody see this? Does everybody see this? You have to unmute yourselves.
Yes, I see
Yes.
it.
You have to unmute
Yes, I see it.
yourselves.
Yes, but it's small. It's narrow.
It's narrow in terms of what?
Oh, on the screen.
You can expand it on your phone also or your device.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's really up to you because it's on my entire screen. Okay, it's on my entire screen.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
I can't do it.
You can't do it. Oh, you know, the problem with virtuality is that it requires a lot of education. No, me included. Me
Oh.
included.
Go to view options.
Are you on a phone or on a laptop or on a tablet or what?
PC. Oh, here it says, maybe I'll get it right.
If it's on a,
My daughter is helping me. Thank God she's here.
okay, all right, great. So, okay, so what we're going to do, as we say,
Oh, it only shows, it got larger, but it's just part of the picture, not the whole picture. Like it's cut off.
this image, you're talking about this image.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not the whole image. It's the face of the image of the exhibit. It
Okay.
starts it off. So no, you're not missing anything. Okay, so let's just do the slow stroll through the exhibit, and you tell me if I'm going too slowly or if I'm going too fast. Okay. The exhibit in the gallery always starts off with what we call the wall panel or the text panel. This is the curator's take on the exhibit. And I'm not going to read it because I'd like to get to the images, being mindful of the time, but I would welcome you to come back and look at the exhibit on your own, obviously, and then read what, you know, my own thoughts on the exhibit are.
Hello, Maria. Jim
Hi.
O'Reilly. Are the comments alongside the pictures, are they your comments, the artist's comments, or the anybody else's comments?
No, Jim, these, I had asked the artists on their entry form to put down their thoughts on how they thought one or both of their pieces related to the theme of if not now, when. And so I saw the perfect opportunity to take their thoughts and put them next to their.
I'm creative today with my cherry jam devil's food cake. My cake has cooled. I want to create a jam.
Okay, somebody's got a radio or television on.
Oh, they hear my TV.
A little earlier.
Who's got, somebody has to mute their mic. Okay.
You would find it interesting. Oh, yeah. I know that.
Please announce the name of the artist.
I'm sorry?
Please announce the name of the artist of each.
Okay, but you realize they're underneath the
Oh,
image.
it's, okay, okay.
Okay, but it's not a bad suggestion, not at all. So this is Taisha. Taisha, you have to correct me if I'm mispronouncing your name. Muhammad?
Yes, that's correct.
Oh.
Taisha Muhammad.
Okay. Okay, somebody tell me what that quote is.
Well, that's the Declaration of Independence.
Thank you. I thought to myself, if nobody knows that that's the Declaration of Independence, wow.
That would be a tragedy indeed.
Yes, it would. Whoops, I didn't mean to go quite that fast. Okay. All right, so here we are with the gallery view and the individual images. Does anybody want to say anything, just having gone through, the exhibit for the first time?
They're gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think so too.
You have many extraordinary pieces in here. I really love this.
Oh, great. Thank you, Tony, and welcome. Welcome.
Yes, thank you.
It's a wonderful idea to put two pieces together because they form their own dialogue panel.
Yes, that's right. And the other thing, Madeline, which really struck me was, you know, in the gallery, I'm going to make reference to, you know, one piece resonates with another piece. In the gallery, when you have the actual walls, you can make that resonance very, very clear, because you put, for example, there's in a turn in the gallery, there are two walls which face each other, and you can put two pieces on opposite walls and you suddenly feel that resonance, you know. It's a little bit more difficult to do in a virtual, but I'm glad you picked up on it. That's very nice.
Let me, one more point about what you just said. So was there a dialogue in the way you organized everything? Like, do you have your own, yes, did you plan certain order and why?
Oh no, I just, you know, put them any old way. Madeline.
Right.
No, I don't mean to make light. It's just, it struck me as like very funny, because a virtual hanging is as difficult as an actual one, you know, because you really are concerned with how to put things together when you have a two-dimensional element and not a three-dimensional one. And it requires different things, and some of the resonances I want, I can't do. Yeah, but I tried to, as much as possible, keep a flow in this exhibit that also followed, you know, kind of an arc of the questions that I asked at the beginning of groupings of them. Like the first one was, what is the view from where you stand, you know? And with that, I'd like to start with. Wait, what was there a question? I'm having trouble understanding.
No, somebody has to mute their phone because they don't realize that that background noise is coming through you.
Okay, I think that's all. I hope so. All right, so let's start with the first image, which is this is an oil on wood by Ken Jackson. So Ken, you're
I'm here.
Yeah, okay. I don't actually see you. I can find you maybe.
You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. And I think everybody else hears you. So that's great. But I would actually like to see where you are. Are you on video?
Yes. See my hand?
I don't have all of the images at once.
We can see him.
You can go to and show thumbnails. Can you do that? Show grid video.
I
see everybody.
Yes, I can. I can do.
We're focusing on you, on yours.
There you are. There you are.
It's okay. You're doing fine. You're doing fine.
Thank you, Ken. I appreciate that. Okay, so looking at this image, the very first question I have to ask you is, there is a face that is looking out at us, you know, and your particular questions that you posed was, does America see us? And when will we start to see each other? But you're actually, you know, you're actually asking that question with that face, which is looking at us, asking us to look back. Yes, not and to see, not just to look, but to see.
Right.
So whose face is that?
Actually, that's kind of a mishmash face, but the eyes are my eyes. So it's, you know, it's like I see what's going on. And it's kind of a take from another painting, and then I just kind of added to it. But it's like, how does everyone perceive, you know, what's going on at this time?
Okay.
And how do we actually approach that, you know, looking at each other? and seeing what really is real.
And I noticed that I noticed a couple of things. I want to come back to that thought, but I noticed a couple of things just compositionally from. So it was pointed out, actually by Dennis Shelton, that you have like, it looks like eagle's wings here,
Yeah.
you know, for the eyebrows. And was that a purposeful intention? How did that come about?
It wasn't. It kind of happened that way, but you know, as I continued to work, I just kind of left it in there. I didn't want to make it look too realistic, and as I started to work on it and started to paint it in, it just kind of happened that way, and I left that part like that because it fits perfectly with it.
Yes.
I keep thinking about, you know, the black eagle and all these other things and what that represents and so forth.
Well, what does it represent to you?
To me, it could be wings.
No, I mean, what is the black eagle? What is the eagle?
Well, a lot of times, you know, if you listen, you know, like the black eagle, you know, now it's my turn to fly. And then there's, you know, certain people who, like certain, I guess, personalities on the radio call themselves the black eagle. And it just has so many things that you could, you know, put that to.
Yes, and it's amazing that you point out how many different things can be pointed to. The eagle is the American bird, so I mean that's the other thing. You've got the American flag, and then you also have the American, you know, the national American bird on it, which is, you know, which has its own resonance, you know, besides the resonance that you just put onto it. So it's really, it calls forth a whole bunch of responses. Now you also have here the names, you know, they're very clear at the beginning and then they gradually fade. Did you mean to say something with that?
Well, it's just like the way we see America, the way we feel about it, it's fading away. And what is really, really America? One of my students recently asked me about Black History Month, you know, coming back to what you were saying about the flag. So I basically said, Black history is American history, and we should start looking at it like that. That doesn't mean we don't have it. I mean, we should remember everyone's history. That's what makes America. So really, that's what this painting was coming together was about. What is America? And it's all of us and all of our different, you know, our different cultures. It's all of us that brings it together. And then when tragic things happen, it should not be swept under the rug. And these things should not be happening. They should be addressed.
Because it's happening to all of us.
Because these are people.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these people we know or we know of, but these are people.
Yes.
This is America.
What you're saying just now is going to be repeated in other images that we're going to see. So it's again, it's about the resonance that one artist has with another artist's work, which is really quite phenomenal. I'm going to ask you about this is the second piece that you were in the last year's show where you had this wonderful 6-panel wood, 6 panels of wood with a portrait of Tupac Shakur, and if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and it was oil on wood. And so tell me the attraction to you, because now I'm talking about artistic things, so to speak, or technique things is what I really mean to say. So what is the attraction to you, or the, you know, what's the pull of the wood and the oil on the wood?
It's a different surface, you know. So many times that I am painting on canvas. You know, I do a lot of portraits, so I'm painting on canvas, and it's a break from that. I want to take a break from that, but I also like the way I have to approach the painting. It's not quite the same because usually I am the type of person that's just doing a lot of glazing and, you know, kind of mushing the color on, you know, trying to make it look almost like it's airbrush, that type of deal. And sometimes you just want to get away from that from a while and just kind of paint it, and it becomes even more graphically as I paint, as you can see, as I do the black and white with the faces.
Yeah. And there's one other question I want to ask you. I also want to mention these, this up here. What is this?
Those are like motifs in my paintings. Most of my paintings have that in it. I mean, like from like the very beginning, I've had like, it's almost like people, crowds, or people protesting, or you know, or people in the streets, or just people together. And it's like people like this or like that. And it's like part of the motif. And it's almost in every painting to some degree. Like I said, it's almost like a graphic element.
I like it. I like it. Does anybody want to ask Ken a question?
Well, hello?
Yes.
Jim O'Reilly is wondering about the green cap. Is it just a green cap or does it have another meaning too?
No, it's basically from another painting. There was another painting I made with a face like this, but it wasn't this face. And the guy had on a green cap and a hoodie, almost like this. And I just took that image and changed it and put it on this picture and put the flag on the face, put my eyes in it, and, you know, just changed his face a little bit, warped it, and it became a painting. It's almost, if you see them next to each other, you'll see what I'm saying.
That would be interesting to see. Thank you.
Actually, they hung next to each other.
I had a comment.
Okay, Madeline.
Yeah, what I immediately saw, I know you were saying that the eyes are staring out, but what I saw right away is so brilliant, artist, that the eyes are staring out, but the head is tilted down and it's right over all of these people who have been murdered, and the body's encompassing them, saying to America, you know, here, look what you've done, and don't you forget, this is America, and we, you know, so that's what I also saw. It's got sort of two views, straight out and then down.
And notice all the people are looking at you.
Yes.
Every face is looking at you.
Well, can I say something? I saw the green cap in two different ways because it keeps going forward and back, like it's receding and then it's jutting out. But I looked at the green as the fertility, you know, like grass is fertile and live. So the fertileness of a new beginning with all this pandemic, we're having a reset. So all these things are unearthing. So for me, it kind of said, we're talking about this place that is always referred to as the land of the free when it really is not.
Yeah. You know, this is
you
why
intended that, didn't you, with your green cap? I love the fact that art brings out this kind of you know, what you get from a picture is not necessarily an image, it's not necessarily a conscious intent, but that doesn't mean the intent wasn't there. I'm sorry, I interrupted you, Ken.
No, I was saying this is why you paint. Everyone gets something from you know, just visually looking at it.
Thank you so much.
May I say one thing?
Yes.
The little things on the shoulder remind me a little of Kara Walker. You know what I mean? Her silhouettes, the little black shoulder of crowds and so on, which is fabulous. And also, it's I think of that riot at the Capitol, and you know, like you said. Black history is American history. Black people were here before most of us. And, you know, so the white people who appropriate that American flag and paint it on their faces and go into the Capitol, they haven't earned it. That's it.
Thank you, Brenda. But we do have to move along. We could spend the entire, 2 hours on one piece. Thank you, Ken. So here is, this is James Delyard. Hi, James. We'll start with, because there are 2 on a page, Strange Fruit and I Can't Breathe. And Strange Fruit, of course, refers to the song recorded by Billie Holiday in 1939. And so say something about these faces, James.
Hi, everybody. So actually, the 2 paintings I submitted are complementary pieces. So this one is actually the first part of the second image. And this was actually the second one that I painted. So the other one was the first one. It's all based on the time, because the other painting was actually painted during the riots over the summer and the protest. So this second piece was a complementary piece to the first one. And when I actually received the call for art for this exhibit, I was in the middle of this one. And when I completed this one, I said, you know what? It would go perfect with the first one to tell the whole story. And that was all based on the theme, if not now, then when. So if not now, then when, I wanted to give a timeline to what are we talking about. You have to give that, I figure it needs some substance. What are we asking for? If not now, then when, what is the topic? What's at hand here? So Strange Fruit would be the first part, even though I actually painted this piece secondary to the other one. So it deals with the lynching of African Americans throughout our history. And the 2 images, I wanted to keep it really simple. Most of my art pieces sometimes can be complex with all sorts of shapes and images going on.
Exquisite. It's really exquisite. I just wanted to say that. I'll mute myself.
Thank you so much. So I wanted to actually keep it very simple and just show the pain and the suffering just in the faces alone. And I wanted to keep just the background just really empty. I wanted the focus to be just in the faces of these 2 characters to see and give a meaning itself to what's going on here in these pictures. And I wanted to give 2 separate emotions, one of really, really excruciating pain of what these people are suffering through during that time. And then the other face supposed to represent, first you're going through it, and then it's the after effect, which is a long lasting pain that actually hurts even more, because this will carry on through generations.
That's very interesting, because, when I first saw this image, I didn't, for some reason or other, I saw this as the chin. Yeah. Okay. And it was, it's very interesting. And then I looked at it and I said, no, my goodness, no, that's a scream, and it just, it was like a double whammy, it was like, boom. The question I have, because this decoration or decorative, what looks like a decorative piece looks like actually, a head covering. I wondered if the second face wasn't a woman's.
It was. It is. Sorry. Yes.
And what is the significance of what I take to be cocoa beans, or not?
They are
okay.
Used to show just to show gives it some more conversation at the bottom piece of the painting, but it represents hair. But I'm glad you pointed out the headpiece, which is really connected to the rope on the top, and it shows how it goes down to the first head and how they're woven together. And I wanted to do this piece specifically to show during that time period of slavery, one of the things that were done is you would separate the family, separate the people.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to bring it back to show the connection at first. Before, this is, we could say anywhere from the early part of the 400 years, this is what was done when we were connected. We were brought here together. We were one people. And even though during the times of slavery, we were still connected. We would find other ways to communicate with each other in an unknown land, an unknown situation. And this will go along with the second piece to show how all of this was broken.
Okay, so here's the second piece. I can't breathe.
Right.
So
this,
say about this.
sorry. So this piece, I actually worked on this over the summer during the protest, the Black Lives Matter protest. And again, similar to the first one, this one, I wanted this one to be very clean. We just did the image of the American flag in the background, kind of like a silhouette. And I wanted some other stuff to go on to tell a story. And over here, over to the right, you have George Floyd's face, again, in that same position where he died. And so several little things going on. I wanted to put in the face masks to show that what was going on at the time, which was the pandemic, the COVID pandemic. You have the "I can't breathe" written right on the mask. And going from the top to the bottom on the left, you have bullet shells. That again represents, it's not lynching this time, it's straight out murder by our law enforcements. And with the American flag in the background, again, represents, this is where this is happening.
Wait a minute, are you saying this is the American flag?
Correct, in the shape of a star in the background.
These are the stripes?
Correct.
Okay. I didn't get that.
Okay.
But what I got was the yellow on black, which reminded me very much of the painting on the street. Yeah, the Black Lives Matter. That statement in front of Trump Tower. Yes.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because that's actually where, when I started with this painting, I referenced the colors that I wanted to use. That was doing right when they were painting the Black Lives Matter into the streets throughout the country. Those were the colors that they used, and I said, you know what? When I thought of the idea, when I started sketching out this image, those were the colors in mind that I wanted to use, and it is referenced from those.
Wow! Wow! How interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah, somebody.
Yeah, it's also the colors that are common in the street, and that's where Mr. Floyd died.
Yeah,
so that's what I thought. Yeah, when I saw it, the lines in the middle of the street.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Carl? Really is that Carl? I didn't know who was speaking.
Oh, that's just Tony.
Oh, Tony. Okay, thank you. And where does live come in?
So this is live. Usually you'll get you'll get that little icon usually when you're filming a video.
Oh.
So with this one, I want to show this is not 400 years ago where you would hear about, somebody was killed, somebody was murdered, somebody was lynched. This time it's being recorded live for the whole world to see.
Oh, wow. Okay, terrific. Any additional questions? Thank you, James.
Thank you.
Okay, so now Alethea Brown. Hi, Alethea. So we have two images here, and interesting in terms of what you also supplied in terms of wording here about, similar to Ken, it's about perception and seeing, and the difference between the two. So tell us about these pieces.
So the pieces is a part of a series. There are 7 paintings that I did on banana leaf paper. They're pulped 100% from the banana leaf, and I'm showing the human portrait of the African American family and how we are endearing, and in spite or despite the stereotype, we have family time, we connect, we love, we embrace, and it's not always something harsh and violent. There are connecting parts to us, and like family grows together, bananas grow in a bunch together, so I wanted the paper to even be a story within the story. So this is the first one out of the 7. And it's the beginning of the story, so that's why I put the focal point on them and how they're connected. So the white is representational because I wanted people to see that it doesn't matter economically or on any other level or status, that oneness is still present from peasant to wealth. That white represents just a new beginning. So when I did this, there was also the idea that the story also has a beginning, a middle, and end. So the last one in the 7-piece series has an image in the background of this. So each of the pieces that you'll see after this one, like this one has a piece of what the next one is in this series. So they're telling a story within a story. So somewhere in each painting is a sneak preview of the next one. And the last one goes back to the first one because the story is always evolving. So this one is called Sunday Supper. And someone asked me just yesterday, when did I meet color? And I met color at the dinner table on Sundays with my mom making rice in different colors. And it was me, my brother, and my mother. So it was always the three of us coming up in the beginning. And the first time I was really, other than that, impacted by color was the church stained glass windows in the neighborhood we lived in East Harlem. So for me, color is part of a story. So I'm telling a story with texture and color and image. And I wanted to show positive images of the African-American experience as normal as any other family and any other culture and its timelessness.
It's interesting, the story that you told of a fellow artist, a fellow artist, who comes from another country and has a perception of African Americans as, not having a family existence. And that's another perception, right? It's very interesting how people imagine we exist and communities within us exist. I want to ask you what these colors actually represent to you.
So the colors are always a layering of things. So for me on this one, we had a lot of wood around us. And I always have this affinity to wood because wood is a tree and it tells a story and it has texture, but it also has that age and wisdom. So the brown represents the wood, which is sort of the wisdom of family. And we always told stories at the table at dinner time, and our family is a bunch of storytellers, so the wood is what the brown represents throughout the piece. And then the color is blue. I find it interesting that both sky and water are blue, so each element from top to bottom is about the energy and the oxygen that comes from giving life in a family home. When you speak, you breathe life into the existence of your family by telling those stories. So the blue represents both sky and water and how it ebbs and flows, just like conversations do. So in the original, this piece is about 30 by 40. So the colors are a lot more intense and vibrant. So that tablecloth is like a red and a pink because the vibrational energy of red is also the pulse of us as a family, that blood, that passion, but also the romance of a conversation really invigorating people in their dialogue. So it's always messages that I'm putting in that piece. So the painting on the wall in the background is called Pedicure. That's one of the pieces in the series that, that is part of this story too, because I'm always showing how divinely we bond, but we also form patterns. So those threes are also representational too of the most dynamic and powerful shape, which is a triangle and the pyramid. So it's the build up. So that's why I wanted that.
Okay, I wanted to just say that what I saw accidentally, it's an accidental resonance, right? Is that those colors are red, white, and blue.
It kind of is that way now. Intentionally, it wasn't red, white, and blue in terms of flag, but those colors still resonate. And I guess subliminally, you can't avoid what you're impacted by, because I was talking about the African American family in particular. So the American flag would make a point and a statement in these pieces subliminally.
Yeah. And your mention of wood is interesting and actually leads us pretty directly into the next image. So thank you, Alicia.
Can I say one thing,
thank
please,
you very
before
much.
we move forward?
I'm sorry?
I said, could I just say one thing, please?
Oh, yes, Maya. Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say a couple of things. One, this is exquisite. It's just gorgeous. But it's interesting that you were talking about how you read the colors in terms of the American flag, because I didn't even see it. It's like it just was vibrant, and the white on the Black bodies. I know that, like, you know, in lots of different African traditions, like white is worn to like reflect and like protect, you know, your energy. So that's what I read as a family. And I also was just like thinking about two artists as well, like with this piece. I was thinking about Jacob Lawrence, and specifically the piece, They Were Very Poor, and how this is like, I don't want to say revisiting because this is you, but it's like, it's just abundant. It's just like, it's just, you know, completely in a different place. And also, I was just thinking about as well, like Cynthia St. James. And, you know, I grew up with that book, No Mirrors in My Nana's House. And there are no mirrors here. And it's just like we are reflected in each other. And it's just gorgeous. I just had to say that before we move on.
Thank you. We do have to.
Please let me say something. Don't mute me.
Okay,
Don't mute me.
What?
Okay, it's so gorgeous, and also I see Pierre Bonnard and Vuillard, and a lot of the Impressionists are in there too. It's exquisite. Thank you. I'll shut up.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so now we come to Dennis Shelton's Broken America. So I need to find where you are in my little screen. Why can't I? Shelton, are you there? Oh dear. Shelton?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yes.
Right. You won't be able to see me. Please continue.
Okay. That's too bad. Because
I think he's naked.
Thank you, Brenda.
You're welcome.
Because you have such a handsome face, it's too bad. And also for people who don't know, I've known this artist for a very long time, so I cannot call him Dennis because I know him as Shelton, and I will not be able to, and I've said his name for so many years. So when I refer to him, I'm not being particularly formal or anything. This is just how I know this artist. So Shelton, tell me something about this piece. If I could start off, by the way, of just referencing President Biden, because in his inaugural speech, he quoted a song called American Anthem. And after it, he said, what are our children's children going to say? Are they going to say, we healed a broken land? And I felt like saying, President Biden, here, over here, we've got the perfect piece for you. So I just wanted to say that it really struck me when I heard him.
Well, thank you, Maria.
Is there something you want to say about the piece first before I ask you about the medium?
Well, I think we should continue with the wood theme.
Yes, okay.
I decided to use wood for its strength.
Uh-huh.
And I also decided to use wood for its character.
How do you mean character?
Each piece of wood has a different grain, a different weight, a different texture. So those are different types of wood. And I also wanted to indicate the pieces as individuals or as groups. So those are different pieces of wood, different types of wood, different sizes of wood, and different textures of wood.
And so you've also built it up into different layers.
Different levels.
No, different levels, okay.
Yes, different levels. And in society, believe it or not, we are seen at different levels. When someone speaks to you or find out which school you attended, or if you attended college or not attended college, or the neighborhood or your zip code, places us in different compartments or different levels.
And
if you notice also go ahead.
No, go ahead. If you notice also.
I was saying that there's 6 sections that are painted in a darker red. And I believe it was Ken that mentioned blood.
Yeah.
And so the darker red represents our struggle and our blood that was spilt, not only to build this country, but to survive in this environment. And the white is gray. It's a light gray because our existence has been tarnished by society, but we're still here and we're still striving and we're still part of the whole.
Wow. So you mean in these panels, it's a slightly grayer.
Yeah.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay. And yeah.
And the number 6 represents mankind. So there's 6 panels that represents the struggle, and that represents mankind. Not, yes, the number 6 represents man.
That is interesting. Now, where do these words, where do the words come from? Why those words? Because no, I just want to say what struck me is that some of them are kind of iconic. You would expect them to be here, like justice. You know, you would expect the 8:46, the 8 minutes and 46 seconds. But challenge and unbelievable are more popular, perhaps, in expression. So
I wouldn't use the word popular.
Okay.
When I watched the murder of George Floyd and the audacity of those officers, knowing that they were being watched and being video, it was unbelievable to me that it was as if they were in the park or having an ice cream. So the challenge is for us to recognize as Americans that this has to stop. Young Black males and Black females, people of color, are being killed and taken advantage of every day. And so the unbelievable is the recognition that this needs to stop. The challenge is that we need to recognize that it takes a whole village, including those that are not of color, to recognize that this is wrong. And the Black Lives Movement has shown that there's different ages, different genders, different nationalities, all coming together as one unified group. And so that's what this is about.
And that is going to resonate again with something down the road. But I want to ask you about the stamps. Did you have a particular reason for using them?
I wanted to show that as I'm old enough to remember sending letters. And so in order to convey a message or a sentiment to someone, you sent a card or a postcard or a letter. And in order for that letter or message to get there, you needed a stamp. So I wanted to convey that this message is being sent, and we do have postage to cover the message.
Wow.
It's Dennis Shelton to the nth power.
And we're going to come back because Shelton has 2 more pieces in here, and I want to go on because the second piece is a companion piece to this. So if I might, I'm going to just go to the next. Oh, this was the, sorry, this was the detail. Okay, so that people see it close up. Okay, so we'll come back. This is Harry Mandel. This is Vigil Against Police Brutality. Harry, are you in the house? Harry? Harry was here, I thought. Harry, are you there? Oh dear. Well, I don't see Harry and I don't hear Harry, but let's just, make some comments about it, if you would, if there are comments that you'd like to make about this piece. This was obviously taken during the Black Lives Matter protests during the summer.
I particularly noticed that if you've ever wondered what you'd do during the Holocaust, all the way on the left.
Yes.
It is so incredible, so resonant because, and then all the way on the right, if you're not actively, doing
whatever.
something.
Yes, if you're just sitting there. And I also noticed, and I also noticed again, what'll resonate in another thing, the yellow peril supports Black power. That is, the people who are excluded. I can't breathe, no puedo respirar, are joining in support of the movement. And so you've got all of these wonderful signs. I really wonder about this guy. Looks like a camera, but I wanted to ask Harry about that. So if Harry joins us, again, we'll come back to it. Okay. So,
I
have
have
a general question.
yeah.
Is this presentation being recorded? Because some people are asking me if it'll be available later to watch a recorded version.
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Thank you.
I had a fast question about the photograph. I was a photojournalist with a press pass in the 80s, so that's before Photoshop and all that. And I would ask the artist if this was, as they call it, photoshopped, if any elements were put together or it was exactly the way it was. And I'm not making a judgment, I'm just asking because I know, from my experience that we could not do that in the 80s and that it's done a lot now.
Knowing Harry, I would say no. It's not photoshopped.
Hello?
Knowing Harry, it's not photoshopped.
Doesn't look it.
But it's a question that I could ask him. Yeah.
One more teeny weeny thing, the resonance of everybody being masked and kind of silenced,
Very,
like that.
I noticed
happened.
that, I noticed that they were all masked, but about being silenced, that's an extra.
Question.
Yes.
Back to the photo. Sorry, I know we're trying to move through this. Back to the guy in the front there on the right.
With the face shield. Yeah.
With a face shield. What has he got in his hand?
It looks like the stand to a camera, to a video, but I don't know what that particular piece is. But I assume he's with the stand.
There's a microphone where he's holding that
Oh,
call.
yeah.
Thank you. I missed that.
Yeah, and
Thank
it looks
you.
like he's got some press credentials on his.
Yeah, but that's the mic, so he can have audio clearer for the visual from that phone.
Thank you. That's why we have all these people here. Okay, so this is Brenda Bergman's piece, Black Lives Matter, and there is a detail which we will come back to that I want to ask about, but here is the entire piece. And so Brenda, there's a story behind this oil painting and how it came to be, because it wasn't the original piece that it grew out of. So there is a woman involved, and what did she see? And just tell the story.
Okay. The original, there's, my mother is a Holocaust survivor, so this lady comes and cleans for us once a week, and she's studying to be a nurse, and this is part of the program. And her name is Brenda, and she's African American, but we think exactly alike. And she has a daughter, Stephanie, who's going to be a writer, and she wrote this poem about
no, don't talk about the poem. Just
read it. Oh, it's so amazing. But anyway, I added that new guy, Andre Hill. I added him up
here.
on the top, and I also added Tatiana. You don't see them because I continued on the picture. And then I added bananas to the Josephine Baker looking person. And it's sort of like the rope stops here.
Okay, so
and
wait, stop. So the lady who comes to your mother's house, she saw a smaller version of this, and she actually commissioned this. She actually commissioned it. Okay, so that was extraordinary.
Yeah. I never make an oil painting out of these things. Are like doodles to me, you know. I don't take them seriously. They're usually marker or pencil or whatever. And then when it didn't have all those faces in it, none of the faces in it, none of the African representations, the baby, so many things. And she came every week and watched it develop, and she just was totally cool with whatever was happening with it. And there are little messages in it now, like Kamala, her name is up there, and then I can't breathe, I can breathe now. That was the amazing line of this 11-year-old girl. She was speaking light from George Floyd's point of view, and she said, I can breathe now. And that's it. So I have lots of little messages to Stephanie in the thing, and blah.
Okay, so let's talk about the piece itself, because, you know, as somebody mentioned Jacob Lawrence before, and this arm in particular, you know, this head and arm in particular reminds me very much of Jacob Lawrence. And you have other figures in here.
I don't even know Jacob Lawrence.
Oh, shame on you. Shame on you.
No.
Look him up tonight, okay? You will adore him. You'll absolutely adore him. And you have, you know, another figure here, for example, which looks like, you know, a long leg. So they're almost like a puzzle in there. Are these abstracted figures, which are just wonderful. But I wanted to ask you about this. So here is a black baby. Yes.
Yeah.
Where is he reaching, or she? I kind of assumed it was
just to the whole out into life scene, you know, the keyhole that is gotta come next. And young people are so much more tolerant, and it's possible. And all these people died, and you know, this baby is gonna push through that whole. I think
so. This is a keyhole. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yes.
Any comments from our participants? Does anybody want to ask Brenda a question? Again,
so the B on the outside left is her name, Brenda. Is that what it's for?
No, these are Black Lives Matter, right?
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter. Black
all along the top and the side. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I thought it was interesting that you have these layers of people, and I saw the piece with that eye, looks like an eye, that green, and it looks like this is a mask, like this is the one figure that has a mask on. All the others are faceless. So that's another way of masking that pain and that experience. And that's the thing about us as people, as we are masked because we're invisible to everyone else, but we have to cover our pain.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and a shield also, you know, and like it kind of goes in a circle, you know, the rope, and then the rope stops here, and the shield, and then you go into, and then the baby comes out, and now I have an egg in Josephine Baker's hand. She's holding an egg.
What is that leopard pattern in the bottom corner to the left?
Well, that's just where you're from, your roots, what you're from.
Okay, we have to move along, I'm afraid. Thank you for that. Thank you, Brenda.
You're welcome.
I think we should have another, 2 hours where we get together in a Zoom meeting and just talk some more. Taisha, this is the first of your 2 pieces. Taisha, I have to find you just to see where you are. There you are.
Yes, I'm here.
And you did this again. Taisha was a part of the last year's Black History Month exhibit, and you're very, very concerned with patterns. And here I see patterns again. And so speak to the, the patterns and the symbols in these pictures.
So what I really have become intrigued by over the last couple of years is the way that language plays into art without speaking. So a lot of my pieces have a lot of different patterns, as well as letters from different cultures. I specifically have been looking up language in Africa because, I mean, when you think of African language, you think of hieroglyphics, you think of Egypt, but there's a lot of other places, a lot of other cities and that have connected by a lot of hieroglyphics. So this hieroglyphic means warrior. That's all.
Means what? It's hard. It's a little hard
to hear me.
If you can speak up just a little bit more.
But loud enough. This symbol means warrior.
Okay.
It is from the lettering that is from Benin and Nigeria and Cameroon.
Okay.
So a lot of people, when they think of symbols and things, they talk about Egypt, but there's so many other connections to language in Africa. And I had been looking up different languages because I had been reading about my genealogy and my family, and that's where my family is from. Also, this piece came directly from Black Lives Matter and the death of George Floyd. And it made me feel like, they talk about how this is Black men and how we hold each other and how they're protective of each other and how they pretty much love each other. There's a glow about us that people don't recognize. And I feel like I wanted to bring that out because it was really making me feel like, as we said, we hide our pain. We're not allowed to express ourselves. We're not able to be loving. They always show us as people that are lawless and wafered, but we're not.
And say something about the patterns in the...
Which again, I enjoy patterns, and I was always looking at the brilliance of pattern and how it tells a story about us.
Gorgeous.
And the background here?
Again, which is the alphabet and hieroglyphics and language.
Fabulous.
Yeah, what I also liked with the faces, the outline of the faces, to paraphrase 50 Shades of Gray, you have 50 shades of brown, when people, and that's, and that reflects the reality. Yes.
Yes.
And that's very nice.
Taisha, did you have these at the Kente Royal Gallery? Yes. Okay, I know I met you, but I wasn't sure if you were the same person. Okay.
What's your name?
Alethea.
Yes, when I saw you, I was like, oh my God.
Small world. Small world. Okay, yeah. I love your work.
I love yours too. Banana skins. What? We gotta go.
So we have got to have a guest.
Say one thing. I just noticed throughout the whole show.
Wait.
Most of them, the only faces you see are the dead people's faces. The live faces are blank on a lot of these.
Well, we're not considered blank.
Interesting.
Well, I don't consider them blank faces. I consider them, we're all here. The faces represent all of us. It could be.
I got it.
It's not specific to one specific Black person. It's specific to all of us.
Universal.
Exactly. It is a universal theme of Black people being together, respecting each other, and holding a space for each other.
And let me ask you about the title, because I put pose next to warrior, warrior pose. Why is this called warrior prose?
Prose because it's a written language.
Okay.
And the symbol of a warrior is there. It's
Okay.
a written language.
Okay. Terrific.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Taisha.
Go
This,
ahead next.
this is Shelton's second piece of 3. And this is obviously a companion piece to the one we saw before, which is Broken America. This one is called Two Americas. Shelton, did you conceive of this as a companion piece? I mean, did you say to yourself after you did the first one, well, gee, I've got to do a second one that reflects another face? Because we don't see the second face, so to speak, of America in the first one. Shelton? Oh, I know he's here, but.
Can you hear me now, please?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yes, it's apparent that this is a companion piece. The same wood, the same levels, the same 6 pieces. So it's definitely a companion piece to the first piece.
And why did you want to make, what prompted you to make a companion piece? What did you want to show with this one?
The difference between this piece and the first piece is it makes the grouping, the people of color, stronger. Any person of color recognizes the red, black, and green, the liberation flag. And as you see, there's 6 again, which represents mankind. I also wanted to include in the stamps our ancestors and our heroes, present and past, that are making this possible for us to be warriors and to continue to fight.
And this presents, when I saw this, you know, I thought to myself, well, how many of these people can I identify? You know, so I thought of it as a test in a way, you know, can you say, a different way of saying, can you say their names? You know, not just the names of people who have been killed, but the names of people who are, after all, part of, you know, well-known, have contributed in outstanding ways. Do we recognize them? You know, and can we say their faces? And I thought perhaps at the back of your piece, you should have an answer key.
Well, identifying them is not as important as realizing that we have ancestors and people that we are walking and holding onto their shoulders. So identifying their name or their area of expertise is not as important as knowing that there's a past, a present, and a future for our people.
Do I have any, yeah, would somebody like to make a comment about this?
Yeah. First, I appreciate, Maria, in the actual video or the video gallery you put up, that you provided an additional panel for the details in the upper left corner, the blue area of the flag, so we could see what he was doing, because you would have seen that if it was hanging on a wall and you could examine it more closely. So I appreciate you did that. The second is for the artist, the African liberation or freedom flag in there. I've noted, is it not only a companion piece, but does it represent a progression in time and in liberation?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
It would be nice for us to believe that this is a liberation, but in reality, we are not completely free. In reality, our fight continues. In reality, George Floyd was murdered, among others, in our lifetime. And to think that James Dillard did the strange fruit, and yet we're still being lynched, not with ropes, but with other means in this time. So it's not a liberation piece, it's a companion piece to the first.
Is it more?
And you did name it Two Americas.
That is correct.
So that's
Does
it.
does it represent a progression in consciousness and struggle then?
That I would say yes.
Well, let's go to the next piece, which is also yours, Shelton's, and this is called America Speaks. Because in a way, there is a progression between the two of these. You say that, you know, the struggle continues. I just want to say, first of all, this is a paper collage. First of all, I'm quite blown away when I see this piece, because I look at it and I say, how do you make all of those disparate words and objects into a coherent whole? It's just stunning. And I'd like to know how this evolved.
I wanted to give voice to our struggle, and not only to our struggle, but as Jim said, to our progression. So if you read the words, it's interesting. Everyone's going to read a different grouping of words. There's going to be some words that are more focused for others than myself. But there's positive words, there's struggle, there's experiences, there's black and white. So that's the message I was.
And may I say, the if not now, when? It seems like the if not now, when happens over and over and over and over again. So it's like until if it's not gonna be, oh, I forgot what I said.
Well, Brenda, that's why I started. That's why I started with make the right choice.
Right.
And I put love, and I put love in the middle, and I have discover and celebrate and promise. But I also have the pain.
Yeah.
And democracy, and wake up. So this
and
is
like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. A lot of time.
What I like very much is that it looks like it's a newspaper, and newspapers, you know, usually have 1 or 2 headings.
Yeah.
But here you
Yeah.
have all the messages that you want to, you know, put out to America, all of them, in something that looks like a newspaper.
right, and not only all of them, but they're placed next to each other with no breathing room. So you're forced to see it, you're forced to read it, and you're forced to react to it.
Yeah, how I took the opposing words with this love, you know, pretty much in the center here. What I took with them. So you have pain made worse, and you have joy, and you have celebrate, and you have you know, American wrong, and so forth. So they're all in this together, but out of this opposition, you also have union. You can find a union with all of this, and that kind of was the message to me. Yes, there's a lot of opposition here, a lot of opposing forces, but you can, with that, even with that, you can find a union. And I thought in a way it was a really positive message.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Doris, your piece is part of a grouping that I said, how can we make us one? And so say something about this piece. It's very resonant with Harry's photograph of the vigil. Why did you decide to choose this word unite? Why did you what did you mean to what did you want the viewer to take away?
In celebrating the Black History Month, my thought was pay tribute to all the Black people, past and present, who make history, who become well-known and successful. Pretty much the idea, like Dennis, to honor all the people past and present. But instead, after 50 plus year, Martin Luther King Jr.'s passed, we are continue facing the issues such as the social justice, inequity, human rights, and reconciliation. So that brings us to this year's title, with Not Now, When. I choose the word July to express my feeling. As a human being in the world, we should treat it as one. When the tragic incident happened in 2020, we, the people, regardless of our races, stood together and demand justice during the turmoil. And Black History Month become a movement. So to honor their victims, I list their names in the rainbow, wishing them in a peaceful place. And
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question about certain elements in here.
Okay.
Yeah, you obviously have represented here the everyone uniting.
Right.
What is
right.
the smoke in the background?
It's the turmoil, like during the demonstration, there's a building burned down. There has a car, like
Are here. Mhm.
yes. So those are the turmoils that happens during the demonstrations.
Okay, and why the rainbow? I mean, was the rainbow a symbol for you?
The rainbows to me is like after the rains, there has something beautiful coming out. So I was hoping after this would be the last, but obviously it will not be the last. And rainbow will come out. And like I said, I put the victim's name in the rainbow. I wish them in a peaceful place and they are in the heavens. And
Well,
yes, go ahead.
Well, Doris, this is an interesting example again of how things can come up that the artist is not even consciously, connecting with. So for me, looking at the rainbow, immediately what came to my mind was the Rainbow Coalition, which went through various stages. I guess in 1969 is when the first Rainbow Coalition was. Started in Chicago and was an unlikely coalition, as I understand it, of Blacks, Latinos, poor, and Southern white activists, and all working for social equity. And then in 1984, when the Reverend Jesse Jackson ran for president, he also had founded or extended that to the Rainbow Coalition, which was a fight for social equity for everyone, for all minority groups. So I just find it interesting to look at your piece and to say, you weren't aware of this, but it just has an additional resonance for me. It strikes a chord in me that goes even beyond, what is clearly there. So thank you very much. Thank you for that, Doris.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say that I have to go. I'm a performance poet, 30 years, and this was such a joy because to me, I approach everything as if it's a wordless poem. And this, the way we're doing it with all the, analyzing and all the, what we see is exactly the way when I present poems, that's what people do. So this has been thrilling. Thank you so much.
Oh,
congratulations to everyone.
Thank you. I'm so happy that you were able to come.
I'll catch the rest of it on video. Thanks,
Yes.
Maria.
Okay. Ciao, ciao. Good luck. So this is Maya Howard Watts's Backbone Leanin'. And where are you? Now I have to find.
I'm here.
Maya, there you are. Okay. Hi, Maya.
Hi.
Okay, so these are first of all, I love taking discarded pieces and making a piece of art from them. So, I'm immediately attracted to something of this kind. But in terms of you know, in terms of the exhibit. So how did this evolve? How did you look at a piece and you say, what can I do with it? Or when you hear a theme, you say, I know exactly the piece I should go for. I'm just interested in the process here. How did this evolve?
Sure. I definitely don't know what I'm going to do before I jump in. I think that I've challenged myself in the past by trying to like draw, you know, like a map of what I'm going to do. But a lot of times it's just play, or I'll imagine like a part of a piece before I can see the whole. But this is kind of a, sorry, I think I'm just drawn to certain pieces, like literal pieces of wood or pieces of string or something. I am really kind of fascinated with the presence of absence. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm drawn to used and found materials because you can see it's had a life. It's been, you know, so this piece came from a chair that was actually in my house, like with my family. And for a really long time, it was like wobbling and like kind of creaking. And I don't know why, but we just didn't throw it out. Like we just had it for a long time. And like so many people came over and just like sat in it, just like taking the gamble. I really don't know why, but yeah, it was kind of a laughing point at the table once everybody sat down in the chair. I remember, like, you know, when it was really too far gone, we put it outside, and you know, I just kind of saw it and was like, I want that back. So I brought it back in the house, which you know, my parents weren't thrilled about, but and just was like playing with it. So it's I definitely spent a lot of time like looking, doing a visual analysis of like the objects that I find before I play with them.
So speak to Backbone Leanin'. What?
Sure. I think that I'm actually really sad that the spoken word poet just left, because I think that I too am a writer and like a poet, and visual art, I think, is a way for me to explain things that I don't have words for. So the way that I was answering the question with this is I'm trying to get the essence of my answer through a form. And so when I was looking at this, at first I saw wings. And so it made me think of an angel. I was thinking a lot about like I was thinking a lot about my mom, like while I was making this piece. Or like my stepmom, but and then I saw lungs. Sorry?
Lungs.
Yeah,
yes.
Lungs. And then it just became clear to me what part of the body it is, whether it's wings or lungs or both. And then just the way that it sits, I mean, you can't really tell as well in this photograph, but it doesn't, there's a curve to it, and it doesn't lay completely flat against the wall. I think that all of my pieces are, I think of them all as like autobiographical, definitely anthropomorphic. So I just see a person, and you know, when I took it outside, like
represents the struggle. That it just, you see the struggle, the struggle in this piece.
Including here, it really spoke to me that these legs are bound.
Yeah.
I just
Can I tell you what I saw? I saw the two white shapes as like the butt prints, like of a butt cheek, and the pants down. That's like you know, Black folks always got their pants down, not just physically, but metaphorically also. Is we're always caught with our pants down, and the shackles were at our ankles. So it's just all of those energies coming off of that butt cheek and those bound ankles.
Wow.
I love that.
Totally.
I'm glad.
I'm mindful, I'm so sorry, but I'm mindful of the time. we still have 4 artists. So again, I encourage you guys to to talk with each other. If you want to share if you want to talk to other artists and you want to share your email address, could you kindly email me? And I will compile a list, because I really would like to have a community of artists. And just email me at gallery18@riverdaley.org. And if I already have your email address, just tell me you're willing to share it, okay? And for those others of you who, who are new to the gallery, if you want to be on my mailing list, or if you want to contact other artists, again, please just email me, because I really want us to, to enjoy the support and the kind of conversation we're having here, which is quite wonderful. I've got to say.
This is like a silent scream.
A silent
to
scream.
me.
Scream?
Scream. This piece. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Sorry.
So you meant Maya.
Yeah.
Yes, a silent screen. Ah, like a frame. Yeah. Mhm.
No, scream.
Oh, I'm sorry. Scream, which ties in with what Alethea is saying. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Kyle Douglas. Is this Kyle with us? I didn't see him, so no. So I will just tell you what this represents. The story he told me, which is, a really interesting one. He was, I think this was they're referees, right? And I think it was specifically NFL. And he said, usually in football games, you'll see one black token referee, and the NFL decided for one specific game, they were going to have all 7 referees were going to be black. And in a way, what this represents is, it doesn't have to be just one, NFL is also, they can all 7 can be, 7 out of 7, not just 1 out of 7. So out of many, one. So that's this piece. I wish he were here to actually speak more to it.
Lovely.
Okay, so this is Nat Solomon. Nat, are you here?
Wow.
Nat? All right, this also is in 2 versions. This is in a sepia version as well as black and white.
Oh yeah.
And this particular piece is called We Are All One. And I wanted to ask him about certain specific things here. But the general message is what happens to one happens or can happen to all. And it ties in with Doris. You had quoted the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.'s statement about injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So whatever anyone suffers in this country is a threat to everyone in the country. And I thought this was a really nice representation of it.
That's correct. Thank you.
Now we have 3 images. This is Parvati Kumar. 3 images that come from or are encompassed in a book called Everyday Blackness, Celebrating Exceptional Women. And Parvati, I'm going to give you a chance to plug your book, but only briefly, because what I want to do actually is to look at these 3 images and ask you, why did you choose these 3 images to submit?
Okay, sure. So I don't know if everyone can see, but I'm holding a copy of my book. So 3.
Oh, okay, yay. So it's published. It was published recently. And
yeah.
Tell me when where is it available?
So you can go right to my website, parvatikumar.com, and right on the main page there's a link. You can see the whole book online, and it's also available for purchase. So yeah, this is the book.
She's like the Venus of Samothrace.
I'm sorry?
The Venus of what?
Venus of Samothrace. You know, the sculpture that's in the Louvre, like up at the top of the steps.
Oh, that Venus. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Oh.
Got it. Yeah.
I'm not familiar, but thank you. Thank
What is the name of the book?
Get out.
It's Everyday Blackness, Celebrating Exceptional Women.
Thank you.
Oh, Bob and Pat. Oh my God, you're there. I didn't die. Oh, so Parvati, the question was, why did you choose these 3 images to submit? What was it about these 3?
It was difficult to choose. So the book, actually, I featured 25 women. So it's called Everyday Blackness, Celebrating Exceptional Women. So, I mean, it was a hard choice. I mean, there's 25, they're all amazing women. They're all, you know, everyday women, but they all have these amazing life stories. And the 25 women are from all ages, like from 19 through 87. And they're all primarily from the New Jersey, New York area. So yeah, these 3 women, the first one is Desiree Washington. She's a veteran, actually. She
well, don't talk about them, because you want them to find, you want the audience to find this book and discover for themselves. But I want to ask you about the this is not black and white, is it? This is a different kind of, this is not exactly black and white, is this?
Right, they're all sepia. So I intentionally made the entire book sepia, and there's reasons. I mean, I could have made it straight black and white, you know, many shades of gray, but I wanted to do a warmer tone. I want pictures to be intentionally a warmer monochromatic tone, for several reasons. So one is to reflect their warmth, because they were all just extremely warm, kind women. And another reason is to allude to to their ancestors, to historic pictures. So, you know, in the 1800s, when photography first started, many portraits, well, all portraits were in sepia. And speaking of Frederick Douglass, and today's his birthday, he was the most photographed person in the late 1800s in America. And he actually has written a lot about photography, which I learned when I was doing this project. So I'm using the power and universality of photography to, so the other reason these are sepia is because when a picture is in color, the picture is about the color. So I didn't want these pictures to be about color. The focus has to be on the person and essentially the face, but I wanted, you know, it's really about the individual. So one of the reasons I chose to do it in sepia.
And it worked. And what are you hoping? What is the message here for the viewer in terms of, you know, why these subjects? There is text in the book, but what are you hoping the audience will see here, or will
freedom?
What? Freedom. Okay. Yeah. Well, this is as Ken said, a fly, just fly. You know.
Right.
But what are you hoping? What is the message here?
There's a couple. So it was a celebration. This book is a celebration because I was compelled to do this project after the death of George Floyd. I wanted to do something that moves in the opposite direction instead of the pain that we're all still feeling. I wanted to do something that moves away from pain, that celebrates, that offers healing, and to show that, you know, Black people and these Black women are really to be honored and raised up. And I don't understand why this fear still persists. So this was a work to show that, hey, you know, get to know your fellow citizens right in your own backyard. I mean, all these women live near me. So it was an honor for me to meet them and to learn about them. And the other reason is, which has already been said many times by all the other artists, is, you know, we are all one. You know, when you meet, I met them, and we're, you know, we have more in common than not. And we're really all connected at a very deep level, one that can't be seen but felt.
And you're speaking very much to the future here, you know, the next steps, the healing. And this leads us into, thank you very much, Parvati. This leads us into Patricia Stewart's
Love that.
which is also about the future and specifically our young and how to protect them. Patricia, you know, do you want to, first I want to say, you did not put this up for sale because you want to make prints of it, yes? So
yes.
Will the prints be available at some point?
At some point in time, because of COVID, it's very difficult to get, to travel to the place to have them printed, and you have to make a couple of trips back and forth. So I'm kind of limited right now, but the desire is to get prints of different sizes made.
Okay. What's the medium?
This is mixed medium. It's acrylic paint. It's painted papers that have designed their shirts, and handmade markings. So it's a mixed media piece.
Beautiful.
And you represent here, was it the educators, the activists, although I see this as journalists, and the artists. Yes, you.
Yes, it represents our writer educator, our activists, and on his shirt you see the newspaper clippings from the Central Park 5, and under is the Exonerated 5. And then you have the artist. And the point of the painting is that our young Black boys, which also represent our Black men, have become an endangered species simply because they are being gunned down in our streets for reasons that, no reasons for the taking of their lives. And, you know, when I think of a young Black boy, each of them to me represent a future. And each one that has died at the hands of police in particular, you know, I end up saying, well, that young man could have been our future writer and educator. That young man could have been our activist. It draws attention to what's going on in the world, in the community. That young man could have represented our artists, painters, or those in the arts. And so we end up losing part of our future each time that their lives are threatened and their lives are taken. And so in the painting, you see the words at the top, and I have our future written backwards. In essence, signifying what is wrong with this picture. I'm giving you the positive potential future in what their shirts, what you see in their hands, what it represents. In the words, I'm giving you who they are, that no one is able to see who they are. So I put it in words of who they are. And so the words, our future, is written backwards because it's simply what is wrong with this picture. And again, front and center is the exonerated five and their story and how their youth was snatched and taken from them, and how what happened to them as a result has forever impacted their lives. Whatever course they could have been on, they were robbed of that. And so they're still trying to get all the pieces of their lives together. So, you know, this painting, my hope was that the message, when a person looks at the painting, they would really think about what it speaks about and what our Black men and our Black boys represent.
Okay.
Can you speak about the glasses and
Yes,
the eyes?
I was just about to say that. The glasses represent each boy, it represents their vision, how they see their world, how they see their future, how things look from their point of view, from where they are standing. So the glasses represent insight, wisdom, you know.
And to me, it's like getting the education they deserve, because every Black child in an area that is impoverished, it is, and a white kid is going to a great school. If you took that same child and put it in a school where some money was spent, it would have a future. He would have, or she would have a future. I always think about that.
Patricia, this is a beautiful piece. I also see in these boys a future of generation.
Yes.
Many generations of these boys. I also wanted to, I guess I'd have to send the email, but I have some information of a place where you can possibly get some prints.
Oh, thank you.
And, you know, they are seeing people by appointment. It's a borderline Queens, but it's worth going.
Oh,
but again,
yeah.
this piece is amazing because I have two sons. I have two sons, and it's constantly thinking about their safety. Yes, I think about their future and education and all these things, but it's always up, not even in the back of my mind, but up front and on the sides, their safety as they're walking. So thank you.
Patricia, can you speak about the background as well?
Yes, the background is in acrylic, gray and black mixed together.
Any message?
There are words written on top, all the words that you see there.
No, but
no, the background itself.
Yes, well, the black represents under the gray, mixed in with the gray was my meaning of things not being seen for what they should be seen. It's clouded. It's and the black is trying to show through. It is trying to stand out, but the gray keeps clouding it. And so my reason for writing the words in white on top is to bring forth the nature of who they are. They're fragile, they're smart, they're loving, they're kind, they're innovative, they're good, they're creative, they're funny, they're clever, they're original, strong, tough, brave, bold, keen, valuable, etc.
Thank you.
And then your last piece, this was, and it has a front and a back.
That's great.
Was, you did not originally submit this. I don't remember why, I saw it, what I had asked you, I think because you were talking about fiber art. And I said, oh, send me the image. And then when I saw the image, I said, well, this is perfect. And I ran this image past the 2 jurors, and it was accepted. This was past the jurying time already, but I just thought this was the perfect image to end this exhibit, because I wanted to have something at the end that was a trajectory of from the past to the future, and a more hopeful a more hopeful message, and not only a hopeful message, but a message that asks people something. Before you can formulate any of your thoughts, before you can have a dialogue, before you can have any kind of a discussion, you have to actually see through somebody else's eyes and feel through somebody else's spirit. And you have to, for that, open your mind, open your heart, and open your hands. And that's why I thought this is really a wonderful, wonderful image for that. So that was my feeling about it. Is does anybody have a different something else to say about it?
And the other one too, I could show the other one. Yeah, I like that too. That's great.
That's the back. Yeah, it's just I like the back even more.
Oh wow!
That's fabulous. That's fabulous.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, that's great.
Yes, this is what you call an art quilt, done with thread painting. So this was done on the sewing machine via free motion sewing, and it's done on top of hand painted fabric that I painted, and I put the backing. It's worked like a regular quilt. It's just with the art stitched on top of it. And so what's stitched on the front comes out identical, or should, on the back. And so it stands out more if the back fabric is a darker,
it's black,
color.
Fabulous.
Yes, it is absolutely wonderful. We have run out of time. Actually, we've probably gone over time. To do something virtually for 2 hours is quite remarkable, and everybody has had wonderful staying power here because for me this is a fascinating exhibit, and and I want to thank all of the artists in the show because it's an extraordinary show. It's, in the words of one of the viewer, a very strong and passionate show, and that's certainly what I feel. So I just want to say kudos to all of the artists here, and I think, if you can join me in a round of applause, I think it's just absolutely fab. I want to thank
Kudos to you, Maria, for putting this show together. Daunting task that it is.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
It is so good.
Well, I hope I talk about taking next steps, and I do hope one of the next steps that all of you will take is to pass on information about this show, because it's up until March 1st. And bring them to the link, which is www.riverdaley.org/community/gallery18. And I thank you all for coming to the opening. I hope to see you at future ones, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the summer.
Wait, can I tell you one thing? Can I tell you one thing? Today is also, because we're in Black History Month, today is Akoma Day. Akoma is Black love, and the symbol is like a heart shaped with a point that goes down into the heart. So it is about resistance in spite of or despite the transatlantic slave trade and Black civil rights era. This was where the Black family, business, and community still showed, shared, and expressed that they had a resilience and still could have love and express love. So today is Akoma Day, and it goes February 14th to the 20th. Each day is celebrated a different virtue. So A-K-O-M as in Mary, Akoma Day. You can Google it. It is an actual thing. So Akoma Day starts today. So this in Black History Month is about Black love.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful. Spell it again, please.
A-K-O-M as in Mary, Akoma.
Thank you.
I am mad about the one with the 3 children and the words.
Well,
Thank you.
There's only one thing I have to say again. I repeat this a million times. Email me anytime at gallery18@riverdaley.org. And I'd love to do this all over again. This has been absolutely wonderful. If I could invite you all to my apartment, I would.
So do a closing conversation at the end of this show on March 1st.
Wow.
That's a good idea.
That's a terrific idea.
And we end with Black History and open with Women's History Month, so we can do that whole full circle.
Okay, will you organize this?
We have to bring wine and cheese.
We'll talk to Maria.
Wine, cheese, and fruit.
Always food.
It's bring your own wine, cheese, and fruit.
But I told people in the email, I said, you'll have to have your own wine and cheese.
Okay, I have to end this meeting if I can figure out how to.
Thank you.
Nigel,
Thank you so much. It was beautifully done.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy Akoma Day, everyone.
Kudos.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Very
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Extraordinary show.
Love you. Sharon.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry I missed your part.
Okay, I don't know how to get out of this.
At the bottom where it says leave, it says.
Yeah, no, it's not coming up that way. That's the problem. I have to stop the share. That's how I
It
might be at the top.
Okay. All right. Goodbye again, Ken.
All right.
If I can go.
Goodbye. Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
Bye-bye.
Beautiful opening. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Sharon.
Hey, guys.
Okay. Bye-bye, Ken.